Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, just trying to keep the community informed and local government as honest as possible. In this video, we will do a brief overview of what is on the agenda for the March 14th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. We'll only be hitting a few of the highlights, so pause to read for more information. Regular meeting set to begin at 7 p.m. You can call in via teleconference by 520-525-8911. The meeting will also be streamed on YouTube Live. Members of the public who have questions regarding any item may comment on that item before and during consideration of that item when called upon by the Planning Commission Chair. On the agenda after roll call and Pledge of Allegiance is recognition of new Planning Commissioner appointments, followed by public comment time, at which you may comment on any item that is not on the agenda. At Planning Commission, you get 5 minutes allowed per discussion item. After that is approving the minutes for the January Planning Commission meeting, followed by any correspondence and conflict of interest declarations. I wish we had that up front at City Council meetings. Next up would be the public hearings. The first being the public hearing about the Green Zone Cannabis Business Park. Staff is currently recommending an indefinite continuance. We'll touch on what the underlying reason for the request of a continuance is in just a bit. The next hearings are for the construction of a 2-story single-family residence on F Street and a 2-story townhouse Tri-Plex project on B Street. Then there are a couple of matters that are not public hearings. The first being the Housing Element Annual Progress Report, then the election of Planning Commission Chair and Vice Chair. After that would be the report of the Planning Director, additional matters at the discretion of the Chair, and finally adjournment. Now let's look at what's going on with that Green Zone Cannabis Business Park project. Staff is requesting this item be continued to give time to respond to comments received on the additional study. Comment letters were received from the State Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Department of Cannabis Control of the State of California. Staff will target bringing this item back to the Planning Commission at its regularly scheduled meeting of April 11th, 2023. In the event that this meeting date does not work for the applicant has inquired on the possibility of the city conducting a special Planning Commission meeting for April 25th, 2023. If the item cannot be considered on April 11th, 2023, City staff will check with the City Attorney about conducting a special Planning Commission meeting and may poll the Commissioner's availability to conduct a special meeting on April 25th, 2023. These letters were not included in the agenda packet for the March meeting. I'm assuming they will be included in the agenda packet the next time the Planning Commission manages to take up this item again. On to the single-family dwelling at 1547 F Street. If you're curious about where it's going to be built, here's the location on a map. The 2-story townhouse Tri-Plex project will be located at 1222 B Street. And you can see where that is planned to go right here. Wrapping up with the Housing Element Annual Progress Report, which is supposed to provide an update on housing program implementation. The city has identified a number of sites that could accommodate the city's fair share of the regional housing needs allocation and all income categories. A Cliff Notes version of what this means is the state decides about how much the population in the state is going to grow over the next 5 or so years. Then it says, here you go, Merced County. This is the amount of growth we expect in Merced County over those years. And then Merced County takes that number and divvies it up between the cities and the unincorporated parts of the county. After Livingston gets its number handed to it, it has to figure out whether or not there is enough land zoned within the city limits to accommodate that growth. The city isn't held responsible for actually building the homes that serve the various income levels, but it is supposed to have enough land zoned so if someone wants to build it, the land is there ready for it. And if I'm understanding correctly, the city is supposed to tweak its policies and procedures and zoning and whatnot to make it easier for the housing to eventually be built. This table shows what Livingston's housing needs are supposed to be. Column 1 breaks it down by income level. Section 2 shows how many permits were issued over the years. Column 3 shows the total of permits issued since 2016. And column 4 shows how much of the housing need by income level still needs to be addressed. Keep in mind, the city itself is not required to build the homes. It just has to show that those homes or housing units could be built if a developer actually wanted to come along and do it. If you like what I do here, please follow me on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you get a notification when a new video is posted. And don't forget the disclaimer. Editorial content and historical recollections are my own as a resident of Livingston and City Council watcher since at least 2007, and does not represent the views and opinions of the City Council or the City of Livingston, and does not represent any kind of legal advice.